Welcome to another episode of 사전미팅. So, I was thinking what to pick for today's word, and I accidentally saw a Facebook post of somebody who's not actually my Facebook friend, and he was talking about this movie he saw that when it was made like early 2000s movie that he saw. Korean movie is basically the same movie with very old black and white film from Europe, technically Italy if I remember correctly. And while I agree with that claim, not only agree, I knew the similarities of those two films a long time ago, right after that Korean movie came out, because I was a big fan of that old movie, which I think and he claims, which I knew, and he claimed that basically he didn't say copied, but very basically same film, because I saw that black and white old film long time ago, probably when I was 13 or something. And since that time I've been a big fan of that director. I won't tell the name of the director for now. Anyway, it's not that important. And all the main actresses and actor. Also, I was a fan. So I knew that film already. So when the Korean film came out, I knew that it's basically the same film. The similarities, it basically has the same core in the plot or character or character balances, relations, whatever you call. It's the core thing is the same. So I knew. Anyway, that post. Oh, by the way, another very another Facebook user that is also my Facebook friend and someone I respect much, said he didn't know. Not only didn't know, of course he didn't know. He didn't watch that old film. Yeah, that was the cause to pick the word. He said that he never watched or heard about that black and white film, old film, that the Korean film is, I have to say, based on, basically. And it was kind of shocking. Like, oh my god, I was thinking, like, how come he didn't watch that famous film, that famous old film? So yeah, this is how I got the word. So famous old film, like, it's like a Charlie Chaplin film. Like, whether you like it or not, say, as a culture, as a, like, for example, if you're a movie maniac, or probably not a movie maniac, but also if you're a film industry, it's kind of must. You can't miss that film. It is that famous. But, well, obviously he didn't watch the film. It's not a fault, or it's not a, it's really not a bad thing. But it's kind of shocked me. Like, come on, man, you should know that film. You should have watched that film already, like, a couple of times. For example, myself, like, I watched that film like 11 times. So really, you never watched that film, or you never even heard about that film? Seriously? Oh my god. That's shocking. So I was thinking, I mean, I came to think about like what is the classic? See, that's today's word. Another C, of course. Um anyway, thanks for all this inspiration and how should I call it? Like um thanks for giving me the reason to pick a word. Anyways, it's funny. I mean, life is basically full of surprises, I guess. There's just never expected this thing to happen. But again, it happened. Now we are going to find the word classic. Okay? Okay. Again, beat up. Beat up. Let's find the classic. Oh, nope. CA, clearly, clear roll. Clapperjudgeon. Weird word. Clasp. Classic. Come on. Oh, here. Class. And classic here. Of course. So you came from the class? I don't know yet. Oh my god. The description is pretty long. It's deep. Let's see. Classic. French, classique. Latin, classicus, of the highest class, of the first order. Okay, so Julius has classicus scripta non proletarius, where the word means high class as opposed to low. Okay, for example, low means example here, proletarios sermo platus. Okay, so proletaria, so something like that, you know, basically same root. Proletarios sermo, that means low class. Okay, and this is the main sense of classique. Okay, as well as in our earliest examples. Luther, however, takes as his first sense of classic used in or belonging to the classes of colleagues. What is this? Colleges or schools. And it is probable that this notion has influenced the word in its expression to the ancient authors generally, as studied in school or college, together with the associated languages, literature, history, geography, mythology, art, of course, and etc. Blah, blah, blah. It is probable also that the transference of the epithet from the first class or standard writers in Greek and Latin to these languages themselves has been partly owing to the notion that the latter are intrinsically excellent or of the first order in comparison with the modern tongues. But the extension has probably been in the main unthinking and unanalyzed. Okay, but the extension has probably been in the main unthinking and unanalyzed. The Greek and Roman authors read in school were actually the classical writers in these languages, and thus classic became practically synonymous with ancient Greek or Roman. Okay. Also the modern locus classicus, the passage of the first-rate authority or importance. Okay, so the classic means high, something high, I guess, right? Something, classy, something very nice, high class. Also, something in the first order, something important, something to learn, of course, because we actually mentioned the colleges and schools and stuff. And also it covers, it embraces different various genre of culture. Basically the culture, right? Because it's associated languages, literature, history, geography, mythology, art. Well, this is basically, what we call culture, or the resources and the pillars of culture, I should say. So, this word classic only goes far here. So, from where's here? From here to here. This is all about class. And bypass this one. And from here to here, it's classic. And now it just starts classical from here to there. Now, we'll only check the word classic. Okay, we already read this one. Now, let's just see the examples, and history of the word classic. Okay, first one here. Of the first class, of the highest rank or importance. Of the highest rank or importance, yes. So this is very, very important thing. Approved as a model, yes. Standard leading. So basically something very, very, very good, or something that stands out, something, I don't know, should I say like trustful or something? So this is a reference basically, right? Anyway, let's see. Okay, Joti sir. Okay, 1628. Yet would he by no means commend it for classic tenant. Well, I have no idea what that is. 1628. Okay, but in Latin we have none of classic authority extant. Okay. 1670. Classic writing in Oriental tongue. Okay, cool. 1845. An investigation carried out with a skill and perseverance which must render it ever classic in astronomy. Okay. McCormick. 1880. That Dupuytren's classic operation for the division of the valve-like apeiron. Okay, 1882. Peabody. Journalism. What is this? The Morning Chronicle. Soon became the classic authority upon all questions of parliamentary reporting. Okay, so in this case, we can actually say classic authority here. And another classic authority, classic operation, classic authority here. So this means basically like classic is used as a highest rank and high. Basically, classic authority, that sounds like a high power kind of thing, right? So classic is something high. Okay. 2. Of or belonging to the standard authors and literature of Greek and Latin antiquity. Okay. Also of art and culture of the same age. You can see that. His table is spread wide with some classic folio. Okay. Where is this? 1712. All the boys in the school, but I have the classic authors in usum Delphi, gilt and lettered on the back. Okay. And 1796. We're graced with many a classic spoil. Cam rolls his reverend stream along. Emerson, 1856. Trace times. Okay. The academic elegance and classic illusion which adorn its columns. Okay. Good. Statue rival, classic terms, classic Renaissance. Okay. Okay, more widely, number 3 here. Belonging to Greek and Latin antiquity. So basically, it's all about Greek and Latin. Something Greek, something Latin, I guess. Let's see something fun, something interesting here. He had never felt the influence of classic civilization. 1866, Kingsley. Okay. Classic civilization, that means not old, not ancient, not just old or ancient. It is a culture, civilization in this case, is, belongs to Greek and Latin antiquity, I guess. Good. Okay, 4. In the style of literature and art of Greek and Latin antiquity, classical. That's opposed to romantic. Okay. These days, when we call like something's classic, I'm not talking about the modern term that this is new classic or something, but I mean, when we say something's classic or classical, for example, like a classical music is basically all say Western instrument-based music. For example, like orchestra using music, performed by orchestra, that's classical music basically, right? And if that orchestral music is for a very specific purpose, like a film, then we just call it movie soundtrack and stuff. But anyway, the classic means something Western these days. And in a wider meaning, when we call something that's a classic, then it means that it's loved for a long time, perhaps influenced, of course, and not just long time loved, also it's getting loved as time goes by, you know, repeatedly loved. For example, like say Beatles' music, you know, music of the Beatles, Paul McCartney, and you know, and then we just call it, you know, Beatles tunes are classic, right? Beatles music is classic. That means, you know, everybody loves Beatles. I mean, they listened to the music long time ago when they were kids, but they still love it. They still check out their music through YouTube and stuff. So we can call it Beatles is classic. But in this time, this was created like late 19th century. So in this time, basically the word classic covers more, I mean, you know, more Greek and Latin, something higher, you know, something like that. Not about the popularity or trend or anything, you know. So again, in the style of literature and art, Greek and Latin. And we all know Beatles, the classic, has nothing to do with Greek and Latin. Anyway, so let's see. In the style of literature and art of Greek and Latin antiquity here, Collins and the classic judgment gained to sweet raising the temperature strength of marrow Chester line. Okay. To distinguish the productions of antiquity by the appellation of classic, those of modern times by that of romantic. Okay. And Madame de Stael has made the British public familiar with these expressions. Okay, Emerson, the vaunted distinction between Greek and English, between classic and romantic schools, seems superficial and pedantic. Okay. Morley, that permanence which is only secured by classic form, a classic purity of design. A classic purity of design. I like it. Okay, 5. Of literary note, historically famous. This is kind of similar to the meaning of classic of these days, I guess. Somewhat close, or comparably close. After a few pilgrimages over some of the classic ground of Caledonia. Conan News, Bank of Yarrow tweet. Okay. In the classic financial neighborhood of Lombard Street. No, it wasn't close to a modern term here. Of literary note, historically famous. This is basically used as this meaning when they transferred. So transfer. When they transfer things, I mean transfer related subject when they use word classic as these meanings, I guess. In practical human sense, approved, recognized standard. Okay, standard. In music, I think the word standard only used in tunings and also jazz. Now, when we call jazz standard means classic in jazz music, I guess. You know, everybody knows something like bebop, especially swings. You know, swing jazz. They are classic in jazz, and they are called jazz standards. Which I'm suck at it. Okay. From the stuff list. Nope. Classic races. A name given to the 5 chief annual horse races. Really? A name given to the 5 chief annual horse races. The 2000, the 1000 Derby, Oaks, and St. Leger. Oh, so that's called classic races. Oh. Okay, so it's like a major golf competition or tennis competition kind of thing, you know, like really famous, should I call it like championship or something, you know, the games. So classic races means the 5 chief annual horse races, you know, the sports, you know, horse racing competition, I guess. They call that classic races. Okay, interesting. 7. Okay, Milton. Cars set free and riders with classic hierarchy. So this means classical. Okay. B. A writer or literary work of the first rank and of acknowledged excellence, especially as originally used in Greek or Latin. Hence, any ancient Greek or Latin writer frequently, in the general body of Greek and Latin literature. Okay, so this writer or literary work, this is important. I mean, this is this is common basically with the modern definition of classic here. The first rank one. Yeah. Acknowledged excellence. See? So it has, you know, it's been acknowledged excellence for its excellence. So literary work or movie, I mean film or music, because of that excellence, it's being loved for a long time and keep being loved by next generations, and say it's becoming, it's become classic. Okay. Dissertation of reading classics. Okay. This is 1711 and claiming to show their wit, praise classic more than holy writ. 1748, six others to shew their learning are always talking of the ancients. They are never without a classic or two in their pockets. Classic lovers. Education. Okay, Godwin inquire out the study of the classics to form a part of education of youth. Okay. Well, I think the classic is very important for education. Basically, I heard. Have you guys ever heard the quote that those who has been raised with listening to classical music, they don't spit on street? Have you ever heard about it? It's kind of funny thing. Those who has been raised listening to classical music, I like to include watching classic films, old films. But that's me. Anyway, those who has been raised with listening to classical music, they don't spit on streets or public, places. They behave like educated citizens, should I call it, or they behave like ladies and gentlemen, basically. And when I first heard that quote, I thought it's kind of just funny, but it didn't take that long. I actually kind of agree with that, claim. I think that's true because those who, has been raised in the environment, the atmosphere, of home, where their parents or other family members repeatedly listening to classical music, and also they were exposed to that vibe, listening to different classical music like Bach, Beethoven, Mozart, of course. I mean, they know, or they naturally, like, instinctively behave like gentlemen, they don't spit on the ground, or they don't spit on, ashtray, or they don't spit on streets randomly, they behave very well. So I kind of believe, actually, those who has been raised listening to classical music, or exposed, I should add, exposed to the vibe or culture at home, keep listening to classical music, they behave like gentlemen, and also they don't spit on street. Well, okay, agree or not, I have to agree. Anyways, okay, that was on education. Where are we? Okay, here. In other literature, fix the ear precise when British bards begin to immortalize. Who lets a sentry can have no flaw. I hold that well a classic, good in law. It's a very nice rhyme. Anyway, that happy Horatian mixture of jest and earnest that contribute to place this pro at the head of modern classics. So the word modern classic was there in 1756. It's kind of old term, I guess. So Dante was the classic of his country. Well, Dante is now the classic of all centuries, I should say. 1878, the poets who have won their place among English classics. Okay. Extended to art. So it was a practical thing, practical means originally, but extended to art is also classic, I guess. Now, Sir Peter Lely, not only the most capital painter of this reign, but whose works are admitted amongst the classics of the art. Okay. The later Tyrolese makers have been rendered the great source of the deception by dealers, their instruments having been made to pass as classic. Okay, that's good instruments, I guess. A student of Greek and Latin literature, a classical scholar. 1805, I find I am a respectable classic. Okay, certainly I am not classic then. One who adheres to classic rules and models, opposed to romantic. One who adheres to classical rules and models. In matter of form, this poet is no romantic, but a classic to the fingertips. Oh yeah. Short for classic style, art, blah blah blah. Burton said, the transition between the classic and the Gothic. Okay, so that's a style. Well, Fireside. Naked sun meets naked sea. The true classic of nature. We got a winner here, winner of the day here, Lowell Fireside. Fireside Travel, I guess. Page 170. This is beautiful sentence. Naked sun meets naked sea. The true classic of nature. Yep. Now summer's going. It's not gone yet, but it's basically gone, like half gone. And now the autumn, the fall is coming. I can literally feel the temperature change, and in the air, the air has been changed, right? It's chill now. It's cool. I can't believe it's only been like last episode of 사전미팅. It's literally a week ago, and it is burning hot. It's basically, the outside is basically an oven. I walk inside it, 200 Celsius oven. I felt like it. But now, even under the sun, it's different. It's way cooler, and the temperature difference between the hottest day of the last week and also the coolest day since last Friday or something, that's probably like more than 5 Celsius, 5 degrees Celsius. So that's a big temperature change. I mean, thinking about how much time has passed. I mean, in that short time, it's a big difference. So, disappearing summer and how should I say, like forming autumn or coming fall, that is also the true classic of nature. Well, I think I'm in the middle of naked seasons, and I'm in the joint section of the true classic of nature. Anyway, be well, my friends. Until next week, next Sunday. This has been 사전미팅, and you've been wonderful.